Black girl gave up her first-class seat for pregnant woman. Then she did this. She gave up her first-class seat for a pregnant woman. A kind gesture. A moment of kindness most people only talk about. But what she did next, no one saw that coming. Not the flight crew, not the passengers, not even the woman who sat down in that upgraded seat. It started like any other flight. A Delta Airlines flight from Atlanta to Los Angeles. Full plane. Business travelers, vacationers, families. The usual. Among them was a young black woman named Kayla. She had saved up for months to afford that first-class ticket. It was her first time ever flying in first class. She was excited, nervous, happy. She found her seat, sat down, put her headphones on, smiled to herself. This was going to be a good flight. Then came the announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a passenger who is 8 months pregnant. We're asking if anyone would be willing to give up their seat so she can travel more comfortably. The pilot's voice echoed through the cabin. A few people looked around. Some glanced at their seats. Others ignored it. Kayla didn't hesitate. She stood up, walked toward the back of the plane, gave up her seat without a second thought. Flight attendants smiled. Passengers clapped lightly. That girl deserves respect, some said. What a kind soul, others whispered. Even the pregnant woman thanked her, hugged her, said she'd never forget this. Kayla smiled, shrugged it off, took her new seat in economy, and that should have been the end of it. But it wasn't, because when the flight landed, something happened, something no one expected. Kayla went viral, but not for giving up her seat, for what she did after. You see, she recorded everything, and what was on that video changed everything. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is going to shock you. To understand why Kayla did what she did, we need to go back to before the flight, back to the life she lived, and the reasons behind her decision. Because this wasn't just about a seat, it was about something much deeper, much bigger, and it all started with a question: why did she film it? Most people wouldn't think to record something like that, but Kayla did, and when she uploaded the video, it exploded. Millions of views in hours. People were stunned. Some called her brave, others called her rude. Some said she was right, others said she went too far. But everyone agreed on one thing: they needed to know the whole story. So let's dive in. Let's find out who Kayla really is. Let's learn why she gave up that seat. And most importantly, what she did after. Kayla was born and raised in a small town outside of Chicago. Her parents worked hard, but money was always tight. Her mom cleaned houses. Her dad drove a delivery truck. They didn't have much, but they made sure Kayla had what she needed. She was smart, focused, knew from an early age that she wanted more. More than just surviving, more than just getting by. She watched the world online, people traveling, living big lives, doing things she only dreamed of. So she worked for it. College on scholarship, internships, freelance work, side hustles. By 25, she had a job at a marketing firm. Not the top tier yet, but solid, enough to start building her life. And part of that life was travel. She loved flying, even if it wasn't always first class. But this trip, this one was special. She had saved up for months. She treated herself to that first-class seat. It was her way of celebrating a big win. Her first promotion. She posted about it on social media. First time in first class. Hard work pays off Sala. She was proud. She deserved it. And when the announcement came over the speaker, she didn't hesitate. She knew what it was like to be uncomfortable. She remembered her aunt being pregnant and having to fly late into her term. No legroom, back pain, stress. So when she heard the pilot's voice asking for someone to give up a seat, she stood up without thinking twice. She walked to the back, took her new seat, smiled, thought nothing more of it. Until later, until the video started making rounds, until people began commenting, until she realized the story wasn't over, not even close. You see, when she gave up her seat, she turned on her phone's camera, just in case. She didn't know why. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was past experiences talking. Because sometimes, kindness gets twisted. Sometimes, people don't react the way you expect. And sometimes, the truth needs to be seen, because not everyone was happy with what happened next. Some said she was too eager to give up the seat. Others said she should have let someone else do it. But most were curious. Curious about what happened after. What did she do? How did she feel? Did she regret it? But the biggest question, why did she record it? That answer lies in what came next. Because when she uploaded the full footage, people were stunned. They saw everything. The moment she stood up, the look on the pregnant woman's face, the way the crew reacted. And then came the part no one expected. The reason she filmed, the reason she knew something wasn't right. Stay with me, because now we're getting to the real story. And trust me, you won't believe what happened next. Kayla had given up her seat. The pregnant woman sat down in first class. Flight attendants thanked her. Other passengers smiled. It seemed like a feel-good story. A young woman doing something kind. But as Kayla walked toward economy, she glanced back. Just once. And that's when she saw it. The look on the pregnant woman's face. Not gratitude. Not relief. Something else. Almost smug. Like she expected it. Like she knew someone would give up their seat for her. Kayla brushed it off at first. Maybe she was tired. Maybe she was just stressed from traveling. But then came the flight. 2 hours and 40 minutes from Atlanta to LA. And during that time, she watched. From her new seat in economy, she saw how the pregnant woman acted. No discomfort. No pain. No signs of needing special treatment. She reclined normally. Laughed with the person next to her. Didn't ask for water or food. Didn't seem to struggle with anything. Kayla started to wonder, was this real? Or was this staged? She didn't want to believe it. She didn't want to think someone would fake pregnancy just to get a free upgrade. But the thought stayed with her. And when the plane landed, that thought turned into something more. Because as passengers began to deplane, Kayla noticed something strange. The woman wasn't moving slowly anymore. She stood up quickly, grabbed her bag, walked off the plane, like any other traveler. No waddle, no pause, no signs of being 8 months pregnant. Kayla couldn't stop herself. She pulled out her phone, turned on the camera, filmed the woman walking down the jet bridge. Then she posted it, with one caption, "Gave up my first-class seat for this." Within minutes, people started watching. Within hours, they were talking. Within a day, it went viral. Millions of views, thousands of comments. Some called her paranoid. Others said she was right to speak up. But everyone wanted to know one thing. Was the woman really pregnant? That question started a firestorm. People dug. Screenshots of the video spread across social media. Someone recognized the woman. Said she'd done this before. Used pregnancy to get upgrades. Boarded flights late. Skipped security lines. Got free meals. Even got help carrying bags. All because she looked pregnant. But was she? There was no way to prove it. No medical records to share. No doctor to confirm. Only what was on the video. And what was on the video spoke louder than words. Kayla didn't call names. She didn't accuse. She only showed what happened, and let people decide for themselves. But not everyone agreed. Some said she should have kept quiet. Others said she humiliated the woman for no reason. One comment read, "You gave up your seat. You have no right to complain." Another said, "You made a choice. Don't try to shame someone else for it." But there were others. People who understood, who had seen the same thing, who had been pushed aside, told to give up seats, told to make room, because they weren't in need. But who decides who's in need? And who gets to say who deserves comfort? That's when the conversation changed. This wasn't just about Kayla. It wasn't just about that flight. It was about something bigger, something deeper. And now, the whole world was watching. The video kept spreading, not just on TikTok and Instagram. It hit YouTube too. People started making reaction videos. Some supported Kayla. They said she had every right to speak up. She gave up her seat. Yes. But that didn't mean she had to stay silent if something felt off. Others were furious with her. They said she humiliated a woman who might have been in a vulnerable state. They said she should have stayed out of it, that she made a choice, giving up the seat, and shouldn't expect praise or protection after that. But then came the screenshots. Someone found an old post from the pregnant woman's account, from just 6 months ago, a photo of her holding a baby, smiling, caption, "My little angel is already 6 months old." Wait a minute. If her baby was 6 months old, how could she be 8 months pregnant now? That didn't add up. Unless she wasn't really pregnant at all. That's when things exploded. Twitter threads, Reddit posts, YouTube deep dives. People started digging into her life. They found more inconsistencies, old photos where she looked the same, even though she supposedly gave birth months ago. No maternity leave listed on her job history, no baby registry, no baby announcements, nothing. It didn't prove anything for sure, but it raised questions, and people started to wonder, was this a pattern? Had she done this before? Was she using pregnancy as a way to get special treatment? Some called it pregnancy faking, a scam used by some travelers to skip lines, get upgrades, and avoid delays. Most airlines give priority to pregnant women, especially those late in their term. They can bypass security faster, board earlier, get free seat changes, and sometimes first-class upgrades. If someone gives up their seat, Kayla realized she might not have been the only one. There were rumors online, stories from other passengers. One person said they saw her on a flight last year. Same look, same request, same upgrade. Another said she got a free hotel room once because she wasn't feeling well due to being so far along. Now, people were asking, how many times had she done this, and why hadn't anyone spoken up before? Because most people don't want to cause a scene. They don't want to accuse someone of lying about being pregnant. It's a sensitive topic. It's personal. But Kayla did speak up, and now, she was paying the price, because the backlash started hitting hard. She got messages calling her cruel, told she was heartless, said she was attacking a mother, even threats. Some people said she deserved what happened next. What happened next? You're about to find out, because not long after the video went viral, something changed. Kayla noticed. Her social media accounts started getting reported. Her posts were flagged, some disappeared, comments were deleted, supporters were shadow banned. It was like someone was trying to silence her. And then came the lawsuit. Yes, the pregnant woman hired a lawyer, filed legal action against Kayla, claimed she was defamed, said the video ruined her reputation, demanded she take it down, demanded compensation. Kayla was stunned. She hadn't accused her of anything outright. She only showed what happened. But the message was clear. This wasn't over. And now, it was getting serious. The lawsuit hit like a bomb. Kayla read the documents twice, then a third time just to make sure she wasn't imagining it. She was being accused of defamation, of spreading lies, of damaging someone's life. She felt her stomach drop. This wasn't what she expected. She thought people would see the video, maybe talk about it for a few days, and move on. But now she was in legal trouble, and it didn't help that the woman had hired a high-profile lawyer, a big name, big reputation, someone who made headlines defending people, accused of all kinds of things. He called Kayla's video malicious, said she had targeted his client without proof, that she had ruined her name online, and that she needed to be held accountable. Reporters showed up at her job. Her face was on news sites. Headlines screamed, "Woman who gave up first-class seat suit after video goes viral." Was she right to speak up? Or did she cross a line? Pregnancy scam? Or character assassination? It got messy, fast. Some people backed off, didn't want to get caught in the crossfire. Others doubled down. They said this was exactly why people don't speak up, because when you do, you get punished. Kayla started getting hate messages. Some were cruel. You think your seat is more important than a pregnant woman. She could have lost the baby because of you. Stay out of things you don't understand. But there were also messages from people who stood with her. I've seen this before. She did the same thing on my flight. I gave up my seat once too. Never again. One message stood out. From a nurse. She wrote, "I work in OB/GYN. I saw the video. That woman doesn't look 8 months pregnant. Not even close. I'm not saying she isn't, but something feels off. Thank you for speaking up. That gave Kayla strength. But it didn't stop the pressure. Her boss called her into a meeting. We're not taking sides, he said, but we can't have our employees involved in public drama. They asked her to take some unpaid leave, just until things settled. She agreed, went home, sat on her couch, stared at the ceiling. She hadn't done anything wrong. She gave up her seat. She filmed what happened. She didn't lie. She didn't attack. She only showed the truth, as she saw it. So why did it feel like she was the one being punished? Then came the next twist. Something no one expected. The airline got involved. Not to support the woman. Not to side with Kayla. But to say something else entirely. Something that changed everything. The airline released a statement. Not the kind that gets buried in small print. No. This one went live on their official social media. Big headline, bold font, Delta Airlines statement regarding recent viral video. People rushed to read it. Kayla opened it with shaking hands. She didn't know what to expect. Maybe they'd say she was out of line. Maybe they'd support the pregnant woman. But what they said caught everyone off guard. It read, Delta Airlines confirms that the passenger identified as being 8 months pregnant at the time of the flight did not have medical documentation on file indicating pregnancy. While we always aim to accommodate passengers with special needs, we are currently reviewing the situation and working with our staff to understand the full context. That was it. Short, simple, but powerful, because it meant something huge. The airline didn't confirm the pregnancy. They didn't back up the woman's claim. They only said they were reviewing what happened, and that was enough. People started talking again, harder this time, more aggressively. If the airline didn't have proof, then maybe Kayla wasn't crazy after all. Maybe she had been right to question things. Maybe she hadn't overreacted. Maybe this woman had done this before, and now people were ready to believe her. Even some of her critics changed their tone. One person commented, "I still think you shouldn't have posted the video, but if the airline isn't backing her up, then something's wrong." Another wrote, "You didn't make this up. You just showed what you saw. That's on them, not you." Support started to grow again, stronger than before. People who had stayed quiet now spoke up, shared their own stories, said they had seen similar things. A man from Texas wrote, "I gave up my seat once too. Same thing. Woman looked fine, laughed the whole flight, walked off like nothing." A nurse posted, "I've flown with women claiming late-term pregnancy. No belly, no records. I'm not saying they're lying, but airlines need better checks." And then came the big question, the one no one could ignore. Why do airlines allow this? Why is it so easy for someone to claim pregnancy and get special treatment without any proof? Because that's exactly what happened. There was no doctor's note, no scan, no record, just a word. And suddenly someone gets moved to first class. That's how the system works. Or rather, that's how the system used to work. Because now people were paying attention, and pressure started building. People demanded change. Petitions popped up online, verify pregnancy claims before giving upgrades, stop exploiting kindness, protect passengers like Kayla. And slowly, the conversation shifted. This wasn't just about one woman giving up a seat. It was about fairness, about trust, about how kindness can be taken advantage of, and about how hard it is to speak up when something feels wrong. But just when it seemed like Kayla was finally getting some justice, something else happened, something even more shocking. It started with a message, not from the woman who got the seat, not from her lawyer, but from someone else. A direct message on Instagram. Anonymous account. At first Kayla almost ignored it. She was getting hundreds of messages every day, some kind, some cruel, most just noise. But this one stood out. It read, "I know what she did, and I can prove it." Kayla blinked. She stared at the screen, then typed back, "Who is this?" No reply for hours. She almost forgot about it. Until the next morning. Another message came in, this time with a photo, a hospital bill, from over a year ago. name redacted, but something caught Kayla's eye. The date. It showed the woman had been admitted for a miscarriage 6 months before the flight. If that was true, that meant the baby she later posted about wasn't real, or worse, never existed. Kayla felt her heart pound. She messaged back, "Where did you get this?" Still no answer, just another message, "Meet me. I'll tell you everything." There was an address, in Chicago, not far from where Kayla grew up. She hesitated. This could be a trap, could be fake, could be someone trying to stir things up, but something told her it wasn't. So she went. She didn't tell anyone, didn't post about it, just packed a small bag, took a train, arrived at a quiet coffee shop, sat down, waited, and then she saw her. A woman in her late 20s, wore sunglasses, looked around before walking in, sat across from Kayla, didn't say hello, just slid a folder across the table. "Open it," she said. Kayla did. Inside were more documents, photos, text messages, all pointing to one thing: the pregnant woman. She hadn't been pregnant on that flight, hadn't been pregnant in over a year. And yes, she had done this before, used pregnancy claims to skip lines, get upgrades, avoid security delays, even got free hotel stays, all without proof. And the worst part, she knew exactly what she was doing, because the woman sitting across from Kayla, she used to be her friend, her roommate, her partner in crime, until she couldn't take it anymore. "I helped her fake it," the woman said. "I even bought fake belly wraps online once." Kayla sat frozen. This wasn't just one person lying. This was planned, staged, repeated. And now she had proof. Real proof. Kayla stared at the documents. She flipped through them slowly. Photos of the woman, not on the flight, but in different airports. Same belly, same story, different cities, different airlines. Each time she got what she wanted. First-class seats, early boarding, free upgrades, special treatment. And each time, no proof, no scans, no doctor's notes, just a look, a smile, a word, and people gave in. Because who wants to argue with a pregnant woman? Who wants to be the one to say no? That's exactly what her friend, or former friend, explained. She knew how to play it, she said. She'd walk slow, hold her stomach, look tired. People automatically believed her. Kayla felt sick. This wasn't just about one seat. This was about something bigger. About trust. About kindness being used as a tool. About how easy it is to fake vulnerability and get ahead. And worst of all, people were too scared to question it, too afraid of being called cruel, too worried about being seen as heartless, so they just gave in, again and again, until someone like Kayla decided to speak up. But now that she had this proof, what was she supposed to do with it? She looked at the woman across from her. "Why are you telling me this?" The woman took off her sunglasses. Her eyes were tired, sad. "I couldn't stay quiet anymore," she said. "I helped her once. I even thought it was funny at first, like a game." She paused, "But then I realized, we were hurting real people." She leaned forward. "There was a man once, he gave up his seat. He was flying home for his sister's funeral. He had to sit in economy, no food, no comfort, and she just walked off the plane like nothing." Kayla swallowed hard. She hadn't thought about it like that. Not until now. It wasn't just about fairness, it was about justice. And now she had something real, something undeniable. She could show the world, she could prove it. But then came the warning. "You have to be careful," the woman said. "She knows people, she has lawyers, and she doesn't like being exposed." Kayla nodded. She already knew that. The lawsuit was proof enough. But now she had a choice. Stay quiet, or go public. And if she went public, there was no turning back. So she made her decision. She thanked the woman, packed the folder, went home, and the next day, she posted again, this time with everything. Photos, text messages, even the hospital bill. She didn't accuse. She didn't name names. She just showed the truth. and let people decide for themselves. The video hit millions of views in hours. Comments exploded. Some still defended the woman, said it was none of our business, that maybe she had a reason, but most were furious. They saw what happened, they understood what had been done, and they started talking, calling for change, asking airlines to verify claims, to protect kind passengers like Kayla. And then came the biggest surprise yet. The airline responded, again, this time with a new statement, one that changed everything. The airline posted again. This time the headline was even bigger. Delta Airlines announces policy change after viral incident. People rushed to read it. Kayla opened it with her heart pounding. She didn't know what to expect. Maybe they'd say nothing had changed. Maybe they'd blame her again. But what she read made her eyes widen. It said, after a recent review of passenger accommodation policies, and in response to growing concerns about misuse of special treatment claims, Delta Airlines will now require verified documentation for any passenger requesting urgent or priority seating due to pregnancy, medical conditions, or disability. This policy is being implemented to ensure fairness, protect passengers who give up their seats, and maintain trust across all travel experiences. That was it. Short, clear, powerful. They were changing the rules, because of her, because of what happened, and because someone finally spoke up. The comments started flying. Some people were thrilled, others called it overkill, but most agreed on one thing. It was long overdue. Now airlines couldn't just take someone's word for it. They had to prove it. And that meant fewer people could fake their way into first class, fewer people could use kindness as a tool to get ahead, and more protection for people like Kayla, who gave up something valuable, without knowing if it was really needed. The news spread fast. Other airlines followed. American Airlines said they were reviewing their policies. United posted, "We are aware of the situation and are exploring ways to better support our passengers while ensuring equitable treatment for all." Social media lit up. Hashtags started trending. #FairTravel, #Verified before upgrade, #Stand with Kayla. Even celebrities chimed in. One actress tweeted, "So glad someone finally said something. I've seen this before. It's real, and it needs to stop." A male model wrote, "Gave up my seat once too, felt played after. Thank you for speaking up." And then came the next shock. The lawsuit dropped. Just like that. No explanation, no apology, just silence. The woman's lawyer made no public statement. Her social media went private. All her posts disappeared, like she vanished overnight. Some said she left town, others said she regretted what she did, but no one knew for sure. What was sure, Kayla had won. Not just the story, not just the truth, but change. Real change. And it felt good. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. Then came the offers. News shows wanted to interview her. Podcasts reached out. Even a streaming network asked if she wanted to tell her full story in a documentary. She said no to most. Didn't want to become a celebrity. Didn't want to live in headlines. But she did agree to one thing. A short interview with a travel news channel. She talked about kindness, about trust, about how hard it is to do the right thing, and still feel punished for it. And at the end of the interview, she said something that stuck with everyone who watched. "I don't regret giving up my seat. I only wish I knew if it was really needed, because kindness should never be used against us." That line went viral, shared millions of times, printed on t-shirts, turned into posters, and slowly, life returned to normal. Kayla went back to work. Her boss apologized, said they were proud of her, even gave her a small bonus, not for going viral, he said, but for having the courage to stand up for what's right. She took it with gratitude, and kept living her life. But there was one last twist, one final chapter, and it came in the form of an email, from someone unexpected. The email came late one night. Kayla was in bed, scrolling through her phone. She almost skipped it. Spam, promotions,
junk, but something about the subject line caught her eye. It read, "I know what she did, and I want to help." She opened it. It was from a man named Marcus. He said he used to be married to the woman, said they had a child together, but that things got messy. He wrote, "I saw your video. I saw the documents you posted. I know what she did, and I know why she did it." Kayla kept reading. He told a story that made her stomach turn. They met years ago. She was charming, smart, funny, but over time, he saw another side. She liked attention, liked being seen as vulnerable, liked getting special treatment, and when real life didn't give her that, she started faking it. At first it was small. She'd say she was tired, that she hurt, that people should make space for her. Then it grew. She started pretending to be sick, to have headaches, back pain, even panic attacks, not because she felt them, but because it gave her power. People gave in. People stepped aside. People believed her, and she loved it. Marcus said he tried to stop her, told her it wasn't right, but she laughed, said no one gets hurt, said it was just an easy way to get ahead, until the pregnancy. That's when things changed. Because this time, she went too far. She started doing it on flights, claiming she was 8 months along, getting upgrades, skipping lines, making strangers give up their seats. Marcus begged her to stop, told her it was wrong, told her someone would catch on, but she didn't listen. So he left. He took their son, moved away, started a new life. He hadn't heard from her since, until now. He said he saw the lawsuit, knew she was in trouble, and knew if she couldn't control herself before, she might not learn now. So he reached out. He wanted to help. He sent proof, photos, texts, voice messages, all showing how she planned it, how she practiced looking tired, how she rehearsed her walk, how she studied pregnant women online, just to get it right, just to fool everyone, just to win. Kayla sat there, speechless. She thought she already knew the whole truth. But this was something else. This wasn't just someone taking advantage.
This was manipulation, control, abuse of kindness, and worst of all, it worked. Because people didn't want to be cruel. They didn't want to question someone who looked like they needed help. They gave in, out of fear, out of guilt, out of hope. And she used that every time. Marcus ended his email with one sentence: "You were brave, and you weren't wrong. You just showed the world what I saw for years. Thank you." Kayla closed her laptop. She sat in silence. She thought about everything, about the flight, about the seat, about the video, about the backlash, about the fight, and now she understood. This wasn't just about her, or even the woman. This was about a pattern, a system that rewards fake vulnerability, a culture that punishes those who speak up, and a truth most people don't want to face, that sometimes the kindest people are the ones who suffer the most, because they give without knowing who's really watching and who's really taking. So Kayla made one last post, not to attack, not to shame, but to warn. She shared Marcus's message, shared some of the proof, and ended with one final line: "Kindness is powerful, but it only works when it's real." The comments poured in. Some cried, some thanked her, some finally understood. And slowly, the conversation shifted from blame to awareness, from silence to change. And Kayla, she turned off her phone, took a deep breath, and smiled, because for the first time in a long time, she felt free.